Yo, yo, welcome to the open pit. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. C with the most. Getting ready to take y'all around the coast. How y'all doing this Saturday?
Wonderful,
Oh,
brother.
well,
Good,
my
good.
brother.
What's up with it?
Great,
All
great.
right, all right. Let me get the introductions out the way. We got Kurt, aka Kurt Murder, coming back again, week 3.
Yes,
What up,
sir.
Kurt?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all Kings doing this morning?
Good,
All right.
good.
Good, man. We good.
We got a new guest, Larry, aka No Capping. What up, Larry?
What's good, man? A-Town in the building. What's going on, fellas?
There you go.
We got Brian, aka Mr. Wonderful, coming back week 3. What's up, Mr. Wonderful?
Hey, man, everything's everything.
And last but not least, Andre, aka Dre from the Bay. What up, Dre?
What's going on?
Oh
How you doing,
man,
everybody?
What up?
Everybody
What
good?
up?
Kurt, you
We
good, brother?
Oh yeah, man, basking in the glory today. You know what I
There you
mean?
go. All right. There you go.
well, let's get this party started, man. We had a Super Sunday last week. One upset. Nobody seen coming. We get it started with the Chiefs and the Ravens. Everybody predicted the Ravens would be in the Super Bowl, but that was a rough game with the Ravens, man. Let's get it started with Kurt Murder. You know, and you representing Baltimore. I'm gonna see what your thoughts on it.
Yeah, let's take it to the stage, man. I'm glad to be right here, on that hot seat. You know what I mean? I did predict the upset last week, but it was the wrong upset, right? Right,
True.
definitely. So, and that point prediction, that 28-10, somebody scored 10. Somebody definitely scored 10, and it was Baltimore. You know what I mean? I was a little off. I was a little off, man. But hey, man, overall, to be honest, man, I am proud of them guys, man. You know what I mean? Like that. I think outside of the loss, I think they played a pretty well put together game, right? We had the strip sack fumble on Lamar Jackson. Um, that would have been a touchdown. He had Bateman streaking down down the sideline. If he could have got that off, you know what I mean, moved up in the pocket, delivered that ball downfield, that would have been 6 points right there. Um, the interception by Lamar, that's probably the only turnover in the game that I definitely would like to have back, right? Post conference, he said he thought it was Tampa 2. Um, they fooled him. Not sure if it was a cover 3 or something, but he said he decided to throw the ball short to give his receiver a shot at the ball, right? And I was like, no, you can't do that. Not at that. You know, you got to throw that ball either to the back of the end zone to where either your receiver only have a shot at it or nobody got a shot at it, right? Because
You referring
could have got a
to that
field
pass
goal
to
out of it.
Likely?
Yup.
All
Mm.
right.
Yep. So that one right there is the only one that I feel like I want back, man. The Zay Flowers fumble on the goal line. Hats off to, I think that was Willie Snead that punched the ball out. Great freaking play by a defender, right? Like I would have Zay Flowers do the same exact thing 100 times over if I knew that was the same result. You know what I mean? Because man, think about this, man. Outside of that, those fumbles, the game plan I felt like was the downfall of the Ravens that day, right? Six carries by the running backs.
Yeah, it should have
Gus
been
Gus Edwards
more
had
on
3. Justin
on the
Houston,
ground game. Yeah, on the ground
right?
game.
Justin Fields only had 3. Man, we should have been running that ball. Lamar had 8 carries. I think one of them was only a quarterback design run, so 7 of them was scrambling in the pocket. Kansas City had freaking 6 DBs on the field. Run the ball,
Yeah.
blow them off of the ball, right? Same thing that happened to
Yeah.
us. I believe that was 2019 against the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken, either 2019 or 2021 against the Chargers. They did the same exact thing. Um, Overall, great freaking win by Kansas City. Kansas City came in there uh, took them boys out. You know what I mean? That's why they are the returning Super Bowl champs. You know, another thing, those two big first downs by Travis Kelce, those were like, you know what I mean, astronomical plays, especially that diving one. Like, I was like blown out. I couldn't do nothing but clap my hand. I was like, yo. And then he had 11 catches for 111 yards or something like that in the first half.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
Kelce and Pacheco showed up for that game.
They did.
Mhm.
They did,
Yeah.
man. I couldn't do nothing but tilt my hat to them guys. You know what I mean? I thought it was a well-played game by Kansas City, even though our defense went in there and shut them down in the second half. Just couldn't get our offense online. We couldn't get the rhythm and stuff like that. But that's all I got right there, fellas, man.
Yeah, stat-wise, Edwards had 3 carries for 20 yards. Justin Hill had 3 carries for 3 yards. Lamar Jackson had 8 carries, 54 yards.
8 carries.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
So, and Kelce had 11 for 116 in the touchdown.
11 for
116.
11.
11 for 11.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, 2 of those one of those plays were a 4th down play on their side of the field. Now, if they did not get that, Baltimore was going to punch them in their mouth, and they knew it, right? They knew it. Oh, and hats off. Hey, I want to give my boy, what's his name? Marcus Valdez-Scantling, a round of applause, because he ain't been catching nothing all year. And then he catch that ball.
Yeah.
He catch that bomb on us, man. And I was just like, well, yeah, I mean, like, you got to catch at least one, you know what I mean? So, hey, man, it was an amazing game. I'm glad I get to sit back and watch the Super Bowl stress-free now. That's it.
Listen. There was a couple of plays there where your boy Patrick extended the play. I think it was a big 3rd down, scrambling through the pocket. Defender coming up behind him. He's getting ready to get tackled. Just lofts the ball. Kelce, boom.
That was crazy,
right? Big time play with Flowers downfield. So Lamar and Flowers were connecting. That first touchdown for 30 yards was crazy, right? It's just luck of the draw, man. That fumble going into the NFL, fumble going into the end zone. I know he's kicking himself right now, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And that's something that, you know, I don't want the rookie to get too down on himself about that, man. Like, man, that was a great play. Like, you think about it, like, that's what you want out of your receiver. You want your receiver to try to make a play at that goal line. One thing, man, some of the Baltimore fans be rubbing me wrong, right? They soon as things go bad, it's just like, man, I am done with the Ravens, this and that to the third, like they're trash. But who's to say that if he would have been down at the 1, let's say he would have went down on the 1 yard line, right? Who's to say we don't fumble that next snap? Who's to say somebody don't fumble trying to get in? We punch it in 3-4 times and nobody gets in, right? That right there is devastating to me. You know what I mean? I'll take that rookie making that play. You know what I mean? And I'll take it 100 times over with the same results. Because the defense stood up in the second half. The offense just didn't come to play.
Yeah, deflate.
Yep.
No doubt. No capping. What you got to add on that?
Man, listen, you got Lamar 20 or 37. You got Patrick 30 or 39, right? I feel like your boy Kurt said you should have put the ball on the ground more. You should have used your quarterback for what he's good for. If the passing game ain't working, you're not connecting, start putting it on the ground, right? He already showed promise on a couple of plays, breaking out through the defense, that first play where he went for like 20 on the ground. You should have just started. Look, play breakdown, Lamar on feet all day. You got a gazelle on the field. You got to use him.
True that.
That's a fact, no cap.
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful.
All right, so I think the big thing, of course, was time of possession of at least the first half by Kansas City. I think that when a team gets that time of possession dominance, whether it be the first half or second half, whatever, it kind of takes the wind out of the home team. That's what I think happened primarily.
Yeah.
The crowd kind of got out of it. I'm not gonna say it was a weather issue, because both teams are used to that kind of weather. But I think at least initially it was had a lot to do with just taking steam out. Now I saw Lamar on the sidelines. He's not used to being on the side. He wants to get out there and play, which we all, all athletes want to do that. But the bottom line is, man, Kansas City was just out there. They were just playing hard, and they just what's the little running back for Kansas? I forget what his name was. Yeah, like 4 or 5 yards. Yeah, 4 or 5 yards of carry, and they just went down the field methodically. And I think that with the whole thing with Ray Lewis coming in and the other guy coming in, and I mean it was a lot of hype in Baltimore. They were ready to play, but I think to be honest with you, I think they kind of not underestimated Kansas City, but I thought that they thought their emotion would just take them to a victory. But this is playoff football, and it's a lot different. I didn't expect Kansas City to come out there. I mean, I selected Baltimore to win the game. I had no idea Kansas City was going to do what they were doing, because if you guys can remember, the primary part of the season, they had a mediocre team. They weren't the dominant Kansas City team like they were. But when they got to the playoffs, things obviously changed, okay? And let's face it, Mahomes is not a fast guy, but it's like, man, he's like a slick pig. When you got to tackle that guy, it's really hard to tackle him. I mean, seriously, he can scramble. He's very awkward. He just throws those sidearm passes. But the bottom line is he knows how to win. And also, Travis Kelce, I don't know why these guys can't cover this guy. You can put 3 guys on but he always seems to catch the football and get open. Whether he's blocking, whether he's catching the football after the pass. I mean, it's just those 2 guys know how to connect. And so I was really surprised that they did what they did last week. But I think that let's face it, when it's money time, you want to team football. You want to incorporate the whole team, obviously. Right. But when it's money time, when the Bulls were switching gears, when the Bulls are playing and they needed some points, you don't give it to the scrub. You got to give it to Jordan. Okay. Yeah. Lamar Jackson was that man. It was money time, and Harbaugh should have said, "Look, guys, you need to take this ball. You need to run. You need to make this team win." Because let's face it. Lamar Jackson, I think he has the potential to have won that game, but I think the Harbaugh should have really used him a little bit more in using his feet to score touchdowns and get first downs and so forth. I think that was a big thing there. So I mean, hindsight is 20/20. You can't go back and change anything. But what I don't want Lamar Jackson to get, and I'm going to say this, I'm kind of kick my own team, but I don't want him to get the Dak Prescott syndrome.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
Get to the playoffs and not in choking. He didn't choke, but it's like he doesn't get any further. I thought this year was his year to really do well and go to the Super Bowl and win. But another year has passed. Now he's got to wait a whole nother year, and hopefully they can get there. But I don't want him to get this thing mentally where he plays well in the regular season and then gets to the playoffs and then they lose. That's a bad thing to get. That's a really bad thing to get. So, like I said, my hat is off to Kansas City. Right now, I will tell you, I am the biggest Kansas City Chiefs fan in the world because I can't stand the 49ers. I can't stand them. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. If San Francisco is winning at halftime, I'm gonna have Andy Reid, okay, to call Mr. Jerry Jones to get some advice. Yeah, I'm leaving it at that.
Mr. Wonderful, I'm gonna jump on board with you on that. I'm gonna piggyback off that one. I have a whole new feeling towards San Francisco because of this guy right here. I'm telling you, every year.
I can't stand you. Listen.
Wow.
Listen.
The hate is real.
So I go back to what they call the catch. Okay, Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone, Joe Montana that broke our hearts in the NFC Championship years ago. Yeah. This is why I just despise them. I absolutely despise them. Nothing personal, but I just can't stand the 49ers. I can't stand them, and I want them to get crushed. Okay, crushed.
No, look, I'm with you. Look, I'm a big Montana fan, big Jerry Rice fan, but the feeling of the team, this guy comes to work. If they win, even if they lose, he's all decked out. He got the leather on, he got his cap on, he's matching from head to toe. I mean, this guy right here, man, has driven a whole different pain for that team and watching them play, but I definitely respect it.
Yeah. No doubt. Dre from the Bay, go ahead and pick you up.
Oh man,
you got something to say.
They took me off. I had to get out of my lane just for a quick second. Just real quick to piggyback, or not so much to piggyback, but to join in on the 49er hatred conversation. I go back further than all of y'all because I go back before the catch. I go back to Preston Riley fumbling an onside kick in 1972 when the 49ers were up by like 21 with 3 minutes left, and Staubach and them came back to beat them. So I was born and raised in San Francisco. So I moved out here to Atlanta about almost 4 years ago. But so I bear the marks. I knew I was with the 49ers when they had never won a Super Bowl. And so so my hatred for the Cowboys is as strong as your hatred for the 49ers is. My Cowboy hatred is on steroids. Okay. So having said that, the game last week, Baltimore and Kansas City, a couple things. K Murder talked about Flowers. The fumble was not his baddest play. It was the taunting penalty, which hurt them. Because remember, he was in the red zone, if I'm not mistaken, or at least at the 10. He was in the red zone. And then, it's one thing, you push the dude in the head, you stood over him, and then you drop the ball on him. Now, I have some Ravens fans that's like, man, you can't call that. You got to call that. What about Kelsey? I said, Kelsey is not doing it over the person. Yeah. He's doing the whole first down and that, but Flowers went over the line to, in this day and age, in this man's football league, that's a penalty. So instead of burst and goal at the 8-9 yard line, now you're back on you're burst and goal on the 25. That's a 15-yard penalty. You're the 23-20. So it changed, and then he made a great play to make up for it, and then the defender made a great play. So and so you can't hold him to that. But what this game told me, and you guys may disagree, but for all the Lamar's finally got the weapons, and no, he don't. Because they still are too dependent on Lamar. Because everybody's talking about if Lamar would have ran and but see, the Chiefs was like, no, we ain't letting you. We're gonna make Lamar beat us with this here.
Oh, right, correct.
That's what they did. And Lamar, let's be honest, he ain't the most accurate quarterback around. No. And so he needs a playmaker. And Flowers can make plays, but Flowers not a big receiver. And Flowers ain't better than Brandon Ayuk. You see what I'm saying? When you look at who's their number one, they don't have a true number one receiver. Flowers is a nice slot receiver. Bateman is a nice guy to have, but they don't have no dog at receiver. And their running back game, remember, everybody's like, well, they led the league in rushing. Well, Lamar had 800 yards rushing. I'm gonna lead the league in rushing if my quarterback give me 800. You know what I'm saying? So they're too still dependent on Lamar, and so if he don't have a Superman game, as you go further on, teams start taking away stuff, and that's what they did. And what happened is Lamar didn't have a Superman game, and guess what? They lost. But even still, they almost won. If you don't have the
washed up, is Beckham washed Beckham?
He
Why
been
can't-
washed
why-
up.
you
He
see,
been washed up for a while. To me,
Yeah.
I mean, he really hasn't been Beckham. First of all, the dude lived off one catch for like
Yeah,
and let's
it's
be
true.
real.
That's
Yeah.
He ain't really put up no, he had one of the greatest catches in the history of the game, but name me another highlight. Now he did look good with the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't got injured, he was going to be the MVP because
No
he
doubt.
was killing
Yeah.
Cincinnati. And then
Cooking.
would he blow his ACL or whatever? And then so Cup got that because they were focusing on Cup and Beckham got his love. But that's what my thought is. I just think that the Kansas City forced Baltimore to win through the air. And Baltimore played into it. The game was too close for them to abandon the run. This wasn't like the 49er game where you down 24-7 before you can blink an eye. This game was ended 17-10. So you could have constantly kept with your game plan because you were always within a score. And so I just think that was it. I just think that they need a true number one receiver, like somebody even like a Debo, where Lamar can throw a 6-yard pass, he break 5 tackles and go to the house. He ain't got that. He don't have that. Not right now. That's my thoughts.
I was surprised that he got sacked 4 times. I didn't see that one coming. You know what I mean? Personally,
He gets sacked a lot though.
Yeah, I thought personally he should have been taken off. I think he was trying to prove something to the media that he can sit in the
And
pocket
hang in
and
that
pass.
pocket.
I agree.
Yep.
Get all that. Do what you need to do. You know what I mean? Do your instincts, take off. You know what I mean? They can't stop you.
And then
So
you didn't get enough production out of Gus Edwards.
Right.
That's so true.
You didn't get enough production out of Gus Edwards to take pressure off of Lamar either.
Right.
But
So
he
may I
only
ask you
had
this?
3 carries, 3 for 20 yards.
Yeah, 3 carries. You can't.
I felt like that game plan and like C was saying, and Dre from the Bay, I felt like they tried to make Lamar Jackson
A pocket passer.
the passer. Yup. And it was the Lamar Jackson against Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
No way in heck in that game Lamar Jackson should have had 39 attempts?
No.
With 6 DBs on the field?
That's not their game. That's not their game.
Run the ball, blow them off of the ball. And Lamar and like exactly what C said, man. You get back there in that pocket, you got 2 reads. If the third one ain't open immediately, go Lamar. You're fast enough to pick up at least 3-4 yards.
Yeah.
Each
Wow,
pop,
big.
right?
Move the chains. Move the chains.
Right, move the chain. Yeah.
So do you guys think it's the coach's fault that he should have,
I think I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like the game plan, and I understand Todd Monken is the first year OC. The game plan was just bad to beat Kansas City. So I'm not gonna point the finger at Todd Monken because I don't know what he saw. I don't know, but I don't like 6 carries only by our running backs.
I have a question for you. What was the difference between last week's game where they lost to Kansas City as compared to when they went to San Francisco and beat them? What was different about that? I mean, what do you think?
Turnovers.
This is better or what?
Exactly.
Turnovers. I already said that. The turnovers cost San Francisco that game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let me put this
if it
out here.
wasn't that, go ahead, C.
Do y'all think it was the chemistry of Mark Andrews coming back that messed everything up? Because Mark Andrews just came back that game. And before he came back, likely was killing them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you think that has something to do with the chemistry?
I mean, you can't put it all on him.
No, I'm just saying. They're trying to make room for him, get back in the mix. But that chemistry they had before, they was gelling. They was
Not
gelling.
at all. Think about this. Andrews got one catch. He got one target, one catch. Likely had 2 targets, 1 catch. Like that was just man. Defensively, Kansas City went in there and gave the blueprint once again how to beat the Baltimore Ravens. If you want to make Lamar Jackson a passer, it's gonna be it's going to be your game if he's not accurate down the field. Like I believe Mr. Drake from the Bay said that, or Mr. Wonderful said that. Lamar Jackson isn't the most accurate quarterback down the field. I think he had 4 attempts, big plays down the field, over 20 yards, and we didn't connected with 1 out of 4. You know, these are some plays, and I understand. I'm real critical of Lamar Jackson, man, because I'm passionate about the Baltimore Ravens, right? Me and my wife were sitting upstairs and we was watching the 49ers game, and she said, that's what I want Lamar Jackson to do. Exactly what Brock Purdy does. Throw to a spot. Boom. He just throw to a spot. Let the receiver go get it, right? Now, Lamar Jackson downfield accuracy, he doesn't put enough air under his ball, right? It's always on the line. He's throwing the sidearm. So it's the ball is coming that much faster, and it takes the receiver the receiver that much longer to get to it. Now, if you throw the ball up and you put some air under it and let that receiver run under that ball, man, it's a totally different story. Totally different story, right?
Yeah. I still believe they crippled themselves, man. If
they did.
Trying to use Lamar as a pocket passer, you are crippling yourself. You have a Porsche.
Yes.
You are driving it like a pickup truck.
And you driving it like a Yugo.
Right.
You're like, man, let the horse run, you know. But you're right. And that the Andrews thing, maybe I think more so, and I don't know. Somebody said it earlier about maybe they took Kansas City lightly, and I don't think that they took them necessarily lightly, but I think that they were so dominant down the stretch.
Yeah,
you know, it's easy to start reading your press clippings, and everybody, you know, once they beat the brakes off the 49ers on Christmas night. Yeah. Which that game wasn't as break beating as everybody wants to look at. You got 4 turnovers, but offensively, the 49ers was right there with them, total offense in the whole 9 yards. But anyway, from that point on, it was like, you know, as they say, a fait accompli that Ravens gonna be in the Super Bowl. Let's who they gonna play.
I had them there.
Yeah, I don't think none of us picked Kansas City, right? Last week, right?
No.
Okay. And we all had them there, and I was shocked. But then I said, but I think I did say last week, there's number 15.
Yep, you sure did.
And when you have, I said this in all sports, you know, going back to when the Warriors lost Game 7 to the Cavs, I said, my people back there were like, oh, we got this, we at home. I'm like, when you have a transcendent player, he neutralizes all that other stuff. You have a LeBron James, and he has the opportunity to win a championship for his hometown. Game 7, he could be on Mars. It don't make no difference. And Mahomes is a transcendent player. And Lamar is not at that level yet. Lamar don't make his receivers better. Lamar can't take his and beat urine, as Bear Bryant just said. You know, Mahomes has been to 3 Super Bowls with 3 different sets of receivers now, except for Travis Kelce. Right. Think about that.
Yeah.
He went once with Tyreek. Mm-hmm. Well, this is actually his 4th. That's actually his 4th Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, it's 4th Super Bowl.
His 4th Super Bowl. He went twice with Tyreek. Mm-hmm. And then he went last year with, I forgot who their number 1 receiver was last year.
It was Miko Hardman, right? Wasn't it Miko?
Hardman. Yeah, Miko. That's right. That's right. And then now he going with Rice. What's his name? You know? I mean, what's the common denominator? Yeah. Number 15 and number 87.
Travis Kelce.
Him and Kelce. And they've gone with a bunch of different running backs.
Yep.
They had no one running back. I mean, way back when they beat the Niners, I think it was Williams and I forget who they had, you know. And now they got Pacheco, you know, and they just do it with different talent, and it all is because you have a transcendent talent in Mahomes.
He is Steph Curry of the NFL. I will give you that.
There you go. There
Mr.
you go.
Wonderful was alluding to something like that. He is that guy. He is that. He's not the fastest, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have the biggest arm, but in a need to win situation with the game on the line, who do you want to have the ball?
Number 15.
What was it? 13 seconds?
Oh man, that was absolutely crazy.
I mean, once he did that, it was like, okay, I take my hat off. I can't even. How you gonna go down the field in 13 seconds?
13 seconds.
Now it takes some bad defense too, but still, you still got to make the plays.
But
he don't blink, man.
But the next week, Super Bowl game is going to be even bigger. Not so much as the players or whatever, but Taylor Swift is flying in from Tokyo to see her.
Come on, man.
Listen, they're going to make a big deal out of that because she's got a concert. She's going to get out of that concert and she's flying a private jet straight there. That's what they say. So they're going to make a big deal out of that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be televised. You know that.
So you a Swiftie?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay.
Man, you know that was one reason I really needed my Ravens to win that game.
Everybody
so we can stop seeing her on TV.
Everybody did. Listen, even watch my youngest son didn't even watch football. He came home like, "Go Ravens," and I was like, "What was that about?" Right? He was like,
I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say that I am a little Swiftie. You know, you want to know why? No. This for this reason. Because she's anti-Trump. So that's a whole other story.
There you go.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. That's a
good point.
We're gonna move on to the next game.
Okay.
The 6:30 game, which was the 49ers against the Lions.
Yes, sir.
Which was Kurt Murder and D Webb pick as an upset game last week. Remember that, Dre? Down 24-7. Man, we only allowed 7 points in the second half. Purdy had 3 big runs, 21, a 10, a 21. Yeah, total of 5 carries, 48 yards. He averaged 9.6 in those scrambles, and we needed those scrambles at the time. CMC, 20 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches, 42 yards, 10.5 per catch. He did everything. But, I'm going to start with Dre from the Bay. Since we talk about the Niners, man. Tell me how you looked at the game.
Well, there was a point where I was like, K Murder and Webb, they was right. Dang, God. I was this close to firing up the fire stick and see what kind of movie I could find. But I will tell you, and you're going to think I'm joking, the game kind of went as I thought it would go initially, but then it got out of hand. Here's what I mean. I knew that the Lions were going to come in because they had nothing to lose. They were, and they were going to be fired up, and we were going to have to withstand their early attack and being fired up, and we didn't. We end up getting down. But my thought was they would get out ahead, probably go in at halftime up 17-10, something like that, which it was close to being. And then the second half went exactly like I thought it would go, except I thought we would be. I didn't think we would be coming back from 24 down. I thought we would continue to run it up and we win 31-21, something like that, because I knew in the second half Archie Bell and the Drells were gonna start singing "Do the Tighten Up" and on those lines, and people keep going, "Oh well, if they had to drop passes, well, but they ain't never been there. You can't expect guys that ain't never been. Remember, all them guys with the 49ers, except for Ayuk, this is their 4th trip to the NFC Championship. Everybody there, and Purdy, so they been there. Nobody on Detroit's been there. And I told people, and this is what I'm gonna tell you. I watched the game. It was a Thursday night game. Dallas, Detroit. And I told a friend when your boy Campbell, they did the 2-point conversion to the lineman that the ref screwed up, called back, and then he like, oh screw it, I'm gonna still go for 2. Are you on the 7-yard line, bro? And I said, guys that lead with their cojones, that's nice. But I told my friend, I said, he gonna cost their team a big game trying to go, cojones out. Twice. And sure enough, he did it twice. If he kicks that field goal in the third quarter, the 49ers had a nice drive to start the third. Yep. Marched down the field, you held them to a field goal. You got the ball back and marched back down the field, got within field goal range, kicked the field goal, and now it's a wash. You done blew 8-9 minutes out of a quarter, and the game is still where it was at when the half started. And that was because Dre was getting ready to change the channel. I was like, man, because I texted a friend, I said, man, we can't stop them. I said, we are not stopping them. Yeah. And Masibo tell you, I was like, bro, we don't look good at all. And then all of a sudden, once they made that stop, here's what happened. You got the fans back in the game. I know my people, they was ready to leave Levi Stadium. The fans was out of it. And you stopped them for that fourth. Now the fans are back in. They score a touchdown. The very next possession, boom, Gibbs gets hurt, coughs it up. Within 2 minutes, it's a tie game. And now, once they tied that game, it was a wrap. There was no way because you didn't, because the 49ers are a better football. The 49ers are the better team. Now, if he was at home and he wants to do that, because your fans are gonna keep you fired up, and it's no getting but you got the crowd back in the game. So that game kind of went the way I thought, but Detroit was Murder, and they were saying, I think it was Murder was talking about how their running game was going to give us problems, and he called that because Gibbs was shaking folks and Montgomery. I mean, we couldn't stop him. But when the game got tight, I knew that the experience was going to kick in, and that's what happened. So,
man, 49ers a better team with a healthy Deebo Samuels. With a questionable Deebo Samuels,
right? And he was questionable.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He said after the game, he's like, I need these 2 weeks to heal up.
Amon St. Brown having a big season. Like, he is a ridiculous receiver. Then you got Laporta, who came in beating the 49ers up. This was one of the worst meltdowns next to the Falcons loss in the Super Bowl. I am telling you, I was getting ready to change the channel. I was getting ready to start sending texts to Masibo like, right? I
got a whole bunch the whole first half. I say, talk to me for a quarter.
I felt strongly about that game. Somebody else take over, man, because I'm over here reeling from this game.
So what happened when the game got tight? When it was 24-24, we all play organized sports. Booty hole get tight. You know what I mean? You ain't been in before. The cats get nervous. It's a lot of pressure on you. You know what I mean? You was up 24-7. Now it's tied 24-24. The crowd's going into it. And Montgomery had 15 carries, 93 yards, touchdown. Gibbs had 12 carries, 45 yards, a touchdown. Williams had that 1 carry for 42 yards, a touchdown. They was killing us in the first half on the run. The whole second half, they passing the ball. They helped us out.
Makes no sense, right?
Yeah,
right.
Makes no sense.
Right.
I always wonder what goes into these offensive coordinators' head when you're gashing teams 10 yards a carry. Like, why are you passing the ball?
But they also made adjustments too.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
You know, we had Armstead back. I thought Armstead and Hargraves were gonna shut that run down, but their offensive line is one of the best offensive lines in the NFL too. So,
right, Coach lost that game.
I agree.
Yeah. Coach lost that game.
Y'all think so? So yeah, I remember Dre from the Bay said that, right? So like,
said what?
I was thinking about the coach not taking the 3 points, man. When I seen this go down live, I knew. I said, oh, he's not going for 3. that has been his identity the whole year, man. I think
You
it
gotta
was he's 20 out of 25 on fourth down conversions, 5 yards and less, right? Man, I'll take that. I'll take that, right?
Regular season.
Right. So, but this is what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying, though, Dre.
And that's what they're saying. You gotta change. You can't just because. And a lot of the people that were talking the next day, they were like, "That's nice." Regular season, even if you don't make it, there's tomorrow. This is to go to the Super Bowl. There is no tomorrow.
Correct.
And so, yeah, I hear you. Go ahead. I'm cutting into your time.
So right, this is no. We just sharing the floor right now. You know what I mean? So I just want to get a consensus from the panel. Like, who thought it was? Who think it was or thought it was a bad decision? And because like I look at it, like that's his identity, right? Regular season, playoffs. Like, if he gets this, then the conversation is different, right? It's man, he had the cojones to go for it. He's wanted, like the conversation is always different. But my question is, or it was when I was sitting there with my wife, when do you take the 3 points? I'm all fine with you going for it every single time. But when do you I felt like maybe Dre, like from the Bay, hey, go ahead and tie this game up, right? Like,
well, yeah. The second one doesn't make any sense when you had
at all. That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, that one. See, yeah, that one is a no-brainer. Tie the game up, and now but I was looking at it from if you go up in the third, you go back up 17. Mm-hmm. Now it's 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Do you think the 49ers really wanted to come down towards the end of the game and rely on Moody to kick a field goal? No. So if for no other reason, I'm putting pressure on your rookie who already looks shaky. And he's already missed one. So 17 is different than 14 because now even if you fumble the ball that next possession, you still and they score, it's still a 10-point game. And and then but you got stopped. But the only thing I say is this: difference between postseason, I say there's Moses and there's Joshua. Everybody, some people can get you through the wilderness, out of bondage through the wilderness, but you can't get in the promise. They ain't the one to take you to the promised land. And coaching has to change in the playoffs. What got you there, certain things, but in that situation right there, what you thought was good back then, what got you through the regular season, in the playoffs, when it's time to go to a champ, when there is no tomorrow, you kind of have to take us, especially on the road. That was the key. If they were at home,
I think that's when you attack harder on the road. You just gotta go out there and go for it.
The risk reward, because the thing is, if he's at home and they stop him, no big deal. Your fans are still there. Boom, 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 boom. But at home on the road, what happened? As soon as they got stopped, that stadium erupted and got fired back up. And football. At the end of the day, players got to make plays, and that's my biggest thing. Is that, look, Detroit made a lot of mistakes, but the 49ers still had to capitalize on them. So and so that whole the Lions lost the game. Well, yeah, but I think the 49ers won it because at the end of the day, they still had to score. They still scored. They outscored them 24-7 in the second half. So they still had to make plays, and that's and so that's.
Look,
go ahead.
I'm just gonna say this. Look, regular season, just like Dre from the Bay said, okay, go for it on fourth down. In the playoffs, it's a different fourth down.
Right.
It's not a regular season, especially with the Super Bowl. Hold on. We all come from playing sports, right? Y'all ever been young on the basketball court or something, and you win the game, and then somebody get to talking, and they're like, well, let's play for 20. Oh, it's a different game when that $20 comes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
fact.
totally different game.
Totally different
Fouls
game.
harder. You got to go to the bucket a little bit harder.
Right.
It's a totally different game. So that fourth down with the Super Bowl on the line and them checks and them rings on the line is a totally different fourth down. That's all that's all I wanted to say.
And you're going against a team that has, again, this is their fourth trip. That defense all been to the Super Bowl. Bosa, Warner, Greenlaw, they were all on that team that just played Kansas City in 2020. So it is a different aspect, and it was the Super Bowl was on the line for them because you're right. If he makes that, if they get that first down, game over.
Yeah,
Game is over.
Right.
great job.
And
Folks.
Dre is watching New Jack City on BET, and I'm flicking the channel.
Dre, you trying to be like me?
Yeah. But they went for it on 4th down and 3, didn't get it. So good night, Irene. Y'all going home, going back to Detroit. It is what it is. But I think his ego has something to do with it too. You know what I mean? And
The
he's
who?
been doing it the whole year. His ego.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. He got a big ego. You know what I mean? He got something to prove. But
Mhm.
Mr. Wonderful, what you got on it? I know you got a lot to say about it.
I agree with everything that was said, but I'm gonna blame. Well, first of all, I think that San Francisco did a great job of coming back, and they deserved to win the game. But I will say, like you guys have said, I blame the head coach. You can't go down the field, take 8 minutes off the clock,
Right.
and you don't score. You get to a point where you're moving towards the goal line, had a couple bad plays where you don't reach it. So at that point, the momentum is kind of shut down, but you have an option to kick a field goal. Okay. So instead of doing that, you don't go for it. This guy's ego tripping, man. And think about, he's a former player. You look at him, he walks around the sideline with a big neck, he's a big, strong guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine and well, but this is for all the money. If you don't win this game, you're gonna go home. And next year they might not get to the playoffs. This is, and so, and mind you, they're a young team, but you gotta the coaches have got to have enough experience to go to the locker room, settle these guys out. I'm not sure what he said at halftime, but they played a really good first half. But he should say, guys, this team, we're playing on the road. This team can come back and win. We got to do what we just did the first half, continue to do that. But more importantly, I think is, the coach, man. I thought he made a horrible call. Sometimes you got to go down the field and get something. I always say it's better to get 1% of something than 100% of nothing. That's the bottom line. And that's what happened. If they went down the field and kicked the field goal, it would have been a different story. The fans may not have gotten into it as much as they did. I'm not saying they wouldn't have come back and won, but as a coach, you got to make decisions that will be, that won't be detrimental to your team. Again, if they would have lost this game, if they lost this game in the regular season, there is tomorrow. But there is no tomorrow in this situation here. They're done. They are done. And, the way the competition is, in the league, they might not get there. But I'm going to say this real quick, and you guys keep this to yourself. What happened was I heard that Shanahan got picked. No, listen.
Oh, here we go.
Go ahead,
Put it up in the chat.
Come on.
Shanahan. Okay. Called
Jerry
Jones. No, listen. And he was almost in tears, and he was thanking Jerry Jones. I see Jerry's like, what do you call me for? Why do you thank me for what? He called Jerry Jones to thank him for, getting softened up. In other words, I'm trying to lose my train of thought here. The bottom line is this: the San Francisco 49ers won, but You softened him.
He was taking that somewhere.
He was going somewhere with it.
I lost my thought there. But the bottom line is this, okay? The bottom
He
line
went
is
the same
this.
place that went.
I lost my train of thought here, but y'all get my point, though.
No,
You
know what I think what you're trying to say is he's thanking Jerry Jones for choking against Green Bay and them not facing them. Because and I'm saying that with a bit of respect, because I think I think that the 49ers weren't planning on playing Detroit in the NFC Championship.
What I'm saying is, although we lost to Green Bay, okay, we lost to Green Bay, we softened Green Bay up enough for the 49ers to beat them. So he was calling Jerry to thank Jerry for us, although we lost, for softening them up.
I must have fell asleep during that Green Bay Dallas game because I didn't see Dallas softening up anybody.
We have to get some credit here for something, right?
Dallas got breaks beat off of them, is what I recall. Green Bay's jerseys was still clean when they left that stadium.
Defense was nowhere. Like they were passing like
your boy Parsons got all this and all this. He need to be on that field because his playoff numbers. I'm just saying, it's like Gronkowski said to him when he was talking about the Niners. He said, "Losers worry about winners. Winners worry about winning." And Parsons, the 49ers live rent free with subsidies in his head. Because he, utilities paid, all that. Because he always read about the 49ers, and it's like, bro, first of all, you ain't never beat us. That's number one. Number two, worry about your own team. But I'm just saying, I'm just doing that because I know y'all.
Look. I have to say this: we'll be back. We'll be back.
Yeah,
we're like we're like cockroaches. We never die. We always come back.
Look,
we're the cockroaches of the NFL.
Yeah, you are.
Look, I lost sight of this. This is a Detroit team that has never been to a Super Bowl. Am I correct?
Correct.
Never.
Correct.
You came into the game. I think his statement after he made a similar decision in a game right before the playoffs, that last game that they lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Dan Campbell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came into the game making a statement about controlled rage. That's what he said he had, right? Controlled rage.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't feel like controlled rage. You're talking about a team that has never been to the Super Bowl, and the only thing you have to do is take the points.
Take the points.
Yeah.
Once you have a lead, because basically what it would have been basically trading buckets, so to speak. Yeah. They came down, you were up 17 at the half. They came down, kicked a field goal, made it 14. You came back down, kicked a field goal, put it back to 17. Meanwhile, about how many minutes had gone off the third quarter clock? The 49ers had a long drive, and then they had a long drive. So, now I think they said it was like 4 minutes left or something like that. 5 minutes left in the third quarter when he could have kicked that. I think it was 6 minutes. It was 6 minutes left in the third when he didn't kick the field goal. Now you've already burnt half a quarter, and the game is exactly where it was at halftime. It wasn't like the game was close. See, that's the thing. Had the game been closer, it would have made maybe more sense to go for it because you're playing to win. You're already winning. By 7, you're already winning. They're trying to catch you. All you're trying to do is shorten this game up. If you got to kick 3 field goals, so what?
Yeah.
They still need
to change the possession percentage, right? You change it from a 1 possession game to a 2 possession game.
Yeah. And the field goal makes it 3 possessions.
So are there any commentators that agreed with his decision to go for it? And although
I saw Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan was like, but he's Rex Ryan. Of course he agree with him. You know, he's an ex-coach and he thinks just like him. And he ain't never won nothing either. That's okay.
Exactly.
And then Dan Orlovsky, but Dan Orlovsky played for the Lions. So he was, you know, so he, you know, and then even Ryan Clark said what somebody said on here that I think it was K Murder. This is what he's done all season. So Clark was looking at it from a player standpoint that, wait a minute, you been believing in us all season, and now you ain't gonna believe in us in the playoffs and kick a field goal when we've been going.
At that point, he didn't need a touchdown. He needed. I mean, it wasn't like he was. You know, he needed points.
That's the point.
He didn't change his mind state. He didn't change his mind state.
I just only don't agree with that.
Mind.
Yeah,
I just only don't agree with that last one. I think that was in the fourth quarter to tie the game.
Yeah,
Right.
That one in the third quarter, right? That's the one I felt like, okay, at what point do you take the points? Right? Like, that's the tie the game right there.
So let me ask you guys a question. So in a case when he has to make a decision like that, is he making that decision on his own, or is he getting other information from the OCs?
I don't know.
They got these what they call the analytics people on the sideline that runs all these numbers, and I think both times they said it was deadlock even.
Yeah,
50% chance of them.
So he has to make. So he has to make the.
He has to make the decision.
You rolling the dice. You in Vegas at that.
But those analytics are regular season.
Yeah.
And again, like everybody's been saying, that's nice when you have tomorrow. But to pay homage to our brother that just passed away, Brother Weathers, as he said in Rocky,
there is no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow.
Exactly.
And so you kick the field goal and now it's a 3-possession game. And like somebody was saying, how many possessions are the 49ers even going to have? If it's a 3-possession game and they're only going to get another 5 possessions, you're asking them to score touchdowns on all 3 of those, to score on all 3 of those, and you do nothing. And meanwhile, you don't score, and that's the thing, you know. And their kicker missed the field goal too, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, no, they missed one. No, did he take one?
I thought he missed one. No, he did. I thought they kicked. No, maybe he didn't.
He didn't.
I thought the kicker missed the field goal.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he didn't even kick one. But Dre, you're saying that first field goal they didn't take cost them the game. I don't think that cost them the game.
I don't think it cost them the game.
It was
the
that
second one. The second one when he had a chance to tie it up. That's the crucial one.
Oh, well, that one definitely. He didn't take it. We went back down the field. We scored a touchdown. We went up by 10.
Yup.
Right.
It could have been a tied ball game, and we get the ball. We can drive it down the field.
Worst case, you're up 7.
Right. You know what I mean? But that second one was definitely crucial. If you got a chance to tie the game, you got to tie the game, man.
The only reason I said that the first one was bad was because the 49ers were on the ropes. And I totally agree with K Murder that had he made it, that's almost a knockout punch, because they're driving. It's you know, they were already in it. That would have been like in the 28, 27 yard line with the ball. And now you're taking more time off the clock. And then if you score a touchdown, now you're up, you know, you're up 20-21 with like 3 minutes left in the third quarter. That's almost a wrap. But the reason I said it was because when you didn't get it, I'm looking at risk reward. The risk reward is you may still end up having to kick a field goal. And so now, but at least you took time off the clock. But what was the risk? The risk was you don't get it. They get the ball there. They go down and score, which they did. Yeah. And now it's a 7-point game, and their spirits are up. They they have
momentum.
Their momentum.
Yep.
Football is momentum. You can see when, and I saw immediately when they stopped them. I texted. I said that may cost them the game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I said it the minute I said this, I said before he even made. I said this is a bad decision that could cost him the game, and he got stopped. And you because to me, the 49ers are the more experienced team, obviously, and they're the better team.
Yeah.
Yes, Detroit is on the cusp, but remember, Detroit's defense is, shall we say, not good.
It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. And so they, keep the more point, keep making it because you put pressure on you. That's the thing. You put extra pressure on your defense that don't have it like that. This is
Dre,
not.
hold on
Go
a
ahead.
second, Dre. Mr. Wonderful gonna leave.
No,
but
I'm
we-
on.
You good?
You good? Okay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Dre.
No, I'm good. I know
no,
I know we got other topics, man. So let's
No.
Kurt, did you want to chime in on that game?
Nah,
Like,
I'm
what's
good. I think everybody said pretty much everything that I was gonna say. Pretty much, man. I thought it was a freaking great game, and the 49ers did what they were supposed to do to come out there victorious. Right? They went in that locker room, made second half adjustments, and gritted it out. They played, man. Brock Purdy, I did like that stat what you said about him. The scrambles, I thought those were key scrambles, and
That's what won the game.
it was decisive. It was like drop back, one read, not there, go. And I was like, that's what he needed to do, right?
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was amazing. Some great throws, great catch in that game. I thought overall, great game. And 49ers actually pulled it off because I went with that upset.
All right. So Super Bowl score picks. I'm going with it. It's no need for me to say anything. I got the score. San Fran. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. 28-13. San Fran 28-13. Kurt, I give you no capping. I'm gonna go ahead and give you. You got something on your mind. I can see it in your eyes. What you got to say? Who you rocking with? Let me see. Let's find out.
It's gonna be tough, man. Like I said, you're playing against the Curry of football. You know what I'm saying? And this is a transcendent player that you cannot lose sight of, right? And they got momentum right now. 49ers, if you got a healthy Deebo Samuels, I'm with you, right? It's for me, it's a toss-up, man. I ain't got no dog in the fight, but I'm leaning. I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs on this one, man. I'm gonna roll with the
What
Chiefs.
score?
Anywhere
what score
Shanahan is, I gotta go against it because we lost the Super Bowl.
What's the score?
I got Chiefs winning by 7, whichever way we go.
I need a score, man. I need a score.
I got Chiefs winning. I think it's gonna be a low-scoring game too. 14-7.
14-7. Let me remind you. 2019, we was up by 10 with 6 minutes to go.
Mark my words. Watch
Get
what
the
I
ball
say.
back. Kyle
Watch what I
Shanahan
say.
threw 3 straight passes with Jimmy G, 3 incompletions. KC just knew we was going to run the ball down their throat. They wasn't stopping the run the whole game. Kyle Shanahan can't do it again for a third time.
Man, you got McCaffrey. Like I said, you don't have a healthy Deebo Samuels. That's the only question mark right now.
He's healthy. He's healthy now.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah, he's okay.
He gonna say he healthy.
Mr. Wonderful, what you got, man?
All right, so San Francisco, very good team. They have a lot of weapons. Coming off of a pretty big win, but I just think that Purdy may have a little off game in the Super Bowl. I think if you put some pressure on him, bad things could happen. I think that McCaffrey should have a good game. But some way, somehow, I just think that Kansas. I mean, because listen. The last time they played in the Super Bowl, I mean, the 49ers were down in the end zone doing the electric slide, basically. But they came back. I mean, I remember Mahomes threw a long pass, and they eventually ended up winning. But I think that I think that Baltimore would be able to beat San Francisco. But Kansas City came to Baltimore and beat them. They played a great defensive game. They had a really good game with Mahomes and Kelsey, and their running back, little running back guy. And so I think that Kansas City is going to win that game. I have 24-21. I think the only way that San Francisco can win the game is they can't stop Mahomes, but I think they can neutralize Kelsey by double and maybe even triple teaming him. But of course, that's going to leave an opening for other receivers. So that's the only way. But I think overall, I just think the Kansas City is they just know how to win. I mean, sometimes they play ugly, but doggone, they just come out there and play, and they know how to win. And the way you play Kansas City, you got to play to the last second, literally, because those guys, man, if you give them 50 seconds, I mean, and around their own 1 yard line, you gotta play. You gotta play because they just know how to win. That's just they're proven that way. So that's my take. 24-21, Kansas City gets the W.
I got your take down. Kurt Murder, what you got, my man?
Man, Mr. Wonderful said a lot of good stuff there, man, and no cap. And hey, man, I like the 49ers 28-24. I think definitely Shanahan is not going to get caught up in that hype, the Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes hype. I don't think he's going to do that. Even though I believe that right now in the playoffs, Kansas City is three defensively at stopping the run. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a really good day. I think he's going to have a really good day on that ground. I see them feeding him about 15 to 20 times. Brock Purdy is going to make some really good plays down the field because I don't think Kansas City secondary is really like that, right? Even though they showed up on us, but like I think Dre said it, Dre from the Bay, man, we don't have that number one. Even though Zay Flowers is a dog, Zay Flowers was the only wide receiver, and I think Odell had one catch, like only wide receiver that did it. Like Kansas City won't be able to do that to the 49ers. So Debo is going to get his. Brandon Ayuk is going to get his. Then they got Kittle out there. Kittle going to get his.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah, Kittle gonna get his, and I just think Christian McCaffrey is gonna really have a good day. You can only get 28 attempts because Kansas City is gonna want to slow that game down. They don't want that game to get out of hand on them, so they're gonna probably use that same, try to control the clock, keep Brock Purdy and that offense off of the field. So if you can just get here about 28 attempts, if you get into the 38. 40 attempts with Brock Purdy, it's a bad day. You don't want him out there throwing the ball 40 times. But I do say this, man. Baltimore gave y'all the blueprint on how to slow them boys down from the second half of our game, because they were pretty much non-existent. I think it was a bunch of 3-and-outs. Patrick Mahomes had 219 yards passing, right, on 30. Was it 33 attempts or 39 attempts or something?
Yeah, 39 attempts.
30 or 39. 241.
241. So Baltimore gave y'all a blueprint. I like 49ers, 28-24.
49ers by 4.
Ray from the Bay?
Well, you know what I'm saying, but Cam Murder brought up some good points, and because I think exactly that's what's going to happen. But before I say that, I gotta go to no cap. Why does Shanahan? He was the offensive coordinator. Why does he keep getting taxed for the Atlanta Falcons loss when Dan Quinn was the head coach?
He lost the playbook. He left the playbook at a restaurant. Y'all don't know about that? He left the playbook
was
at a
that
restaurant
season?
before the game, and someone returned the
was
playbook.
that season? Okay, I remember that. Okay,
way.
yeah, I remember that. I forgot that was that season, but we still hired him though right after that, and it worked out decently. So I think he's going to take the air out the ball initially. I think he's going to try to take some pressure off the young man, and not get into the whole Purdy Mahomes hype, because that's a showdown you're going to lose. You don't want to get into that whole. But I think it's going to be McCaffrey. They're going to run the ball, at least try to establish it, soften it up, and then that play action. But also to the same point K. Murder put out, the 49ers got way more weapons than Baltimore, all over the field. And you didn't even hit Jawan Jennings. He's our third, fourth receiver off, technically. And he's dang near number one on Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's going to be, the key is going to be, does Purdy have some time? But what I'm looking for, to be honest, is I'm still looking for my 49ers that played the Cowboys, that played the Eagles, that was 6-0 to start the season. I think we get to the end of the season and we're saying, well, who's hot, who's not? But are we going to throw away the regular season? Because I don't know if you guys realize this, but the two teams the 49ers beat in the playoffs, Green Bay and Detroit, beat Kansas City. Okay. Now, I know the Detroit was the first game of the year. I don't put a lot of stock on it, but Kansas City ain't been looking good all season. They've been a little shaky. Now, they've gotten hot at the end, which may be but the 49ers, with the exception of a 3-game stretch, they've been dominant all season. Kansas City scored 30 points 3 times, 30 points or more, 3 times all season. 49ers did it 9 times. And some of those was in the 40s. So they have shown if you take their body of work, they're technically the better team. But back to my original point I talked about earlier, they have the transcendent superstar on the field. The best player on that field is number 15 until proven otherwise. And so that's going to be the key. But I got Niners 27-20. I was going with 27-17, and I'm still leaning to that. But I think that they're going to win. I saw a Madden simulation on YouTube, then they won it 20. I think it was like 28-24 or something like that. But that's my thoughts. But I think it's going to be a good game.
Hey, I got a quick question. All right, if the 49ers shut Kelsey down completely, what alternative do you think they have? Kansas City has offensively.
Run the ball.
Like Isaiah can't run the ball.
Isaiah.
Yep.
What's the young guy? Rice. I forget.
Rice.
They got another tight end behind Kelsey too. What's the guy's name?
Is that Gray? I think his name Gray, right?
They're gonna need somebody to. They're gonna need one of them unsung hero type dudes to step up, and take that spot. And that's the other thing. They just, weapon wise, Pacheco scares me because that boy runs hard. And the Niners have been giving up. They've been giving up yardage on that run. He's a
stallion when he run the ball. His head, shoulders, everything.
Oh, yeah. And he don't go down. He don't hit he don't go out of bounds. He running like they said, somebody said he run like he angry at the ground. You know,
Yeah, he running through
Yeah.
you.
he run, and so it's gonna be, it's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good game, but I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna say this just so I can have it on record. I think the 49ers could blow them out. I think it
so
could.
too.
I think because lost and all that, they only scored 17 points against the Ravens, and they didn't score a whole bunch against Buffalo, and Buffalo was missing like 20 defensive players. I mean, they had like 3 or 4 guys out. So, but it's a big if. If the 49ers that played the Cowboys, or especially the team that played the Eagles, show up, it's over. Because and there's a possibility, because remember, there's history. The 49ers felt like they should have beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And I like it. I like it when they have a chip on their shoulder.
That pass rush got to show up.
Yeah, and Chase Young, I don't know about brother Chase. He ain't looking.
I want to see that matchup with Trent Williams and Chris Jones.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Yeah, we can dominate that matchup.
That's the football game. Almost.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
If he can't stop Chris Jones, then Purdy gonna have a long, because you've seen Purdy when he's under duress, he can make some shaky decisions.
Mm-hmm. Seabold, what you had to score at?
28-13.
And then Dre from the Bay had it at what? 27-17.
27-20.
I had a 20. I think I'm going with the 27-17. I'm
going to 17.
And then Kurt had it at what? 28-24.
28-24.
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful had it at what?
24-21 Kansas City.
I'm on that side. I got 24-17. I thought about that offense.
24-17 Dallas. I mean, not Dallas. I mean, KC.
Yeah, Dallas.
24-17.
Hey, guys, we're going to the moral Super Bowl. It's the moral win.
Hey, I'm coming with you. Mr.
Weather. Hey, look, we'll play the Ravens in the moral Super Bowl. How about that?
Let's do it.
Yeah, real quick, can I just ask a question to K Murder, because there's a guy, a business acquaintance, is a big Ravens fan, and when I talked to him, probably was Tuesday, I gave him Monday to recuperate. His whole conversation was the officiating. What was your thoughts on that?
Nah,
he was like,
I'm not one of those guys. Now, and if there's blatant calls, right, like holding and stuff like that, then I'll just be like, man, that was a bad call. But I'm never one of the guys that be out there on the limb like, man, officiating was bad. Yeah. They were cheating us. Like the Zay Flowers, it was like when I first initially seen it, like real time, because I was sitting there locked in. I'm looking at the player grabbing his leg while he's still on the ground, right?
Okay.
So this is why he like mushed them off like that, dropped the ball, whatever.
See, I didn't catch that
in slow, right? So then when I seen it in slow mo, initially I was like, oh, that's BS. That ain't no taunting call. But then I see it in slow mo, and I'm like, that's a good call. But I feel like certain situations you can't make a little call like that, but it was a good call. So I was like, hey man, that's a good call. Then he went right back and got us right back at that 1 yard line with the fumble. But I'm not that guy, man. I don't sell out on officiating and stuff like that.
If you're a professional and you know the rules and it's a possibility they may call that, you gotta swallow your pride, get out and go to the huddle. Because what happened there, you could hurt your team. I mean, that's happened so many times, in any sport. They get a really big play, and then they celebrate. And, me personally, I'm fine with that. But when they have rules set in place, and it's a possibility that they'll call throw a flag on you for taunting, whatever, that's going to cost your team. You gotta consider that. And the coaches have got to drill that into these players, because that hurts the team. Oh, yeah. That's the bottom line. Right. I like I said, I'm fine with that, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And people get in the whole because like this guy was doing the whole what aboutism, and I don't do what aboutism, you
No.
know. And he's like, well, what about Kelsey? He's taunting after every. I'm like, but he's taunting, but he ain't taunting. He's pointing first down. He's, you know, and if a guy is standing in front of him, he's walking through him, but you're standing in front of him. You know, it's not mushing you, standing over you, dropping the ball on you. You did 3 different things, you know, and they were like, okay, I'll let the mush go. Okay, I'll let the standing over him go. Okay, now you're gonna drop the ball on him. Okay, I got the call. You know what I mean?
Right. I got to call something.
I got to
yo.
call
Right.
To me, Kelsey has that showmanship. You know what I mean? He has that kind of, you know, he's known. I mean, he's kind of a flashy player, and he's known to do that. And so this is why I think he gets away with a lot of different things.
Yep.
Well, that's Kelsey is the face of the league.
That's his personality.
And he's a like no cap.
He's the face of the league.
He's the face of the league. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and this guy is a rookie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's NBA, NFL. Look, you know, Steph can shoot a 3 and turn and look at the bench and walk. You know,
And do all this and nothing
do all this.
Yeah. Right.
Would you be a rookie coming there doing that? And like, no, bro, you ain't. No. T. You know, and that's and you have to know that. You have to know that. You have to know that.
Gotta earn that respect.
You gotta earn that respect.
I mean,
speaking of Steph, I'm gonna be there tonight at State Farm.
nice.
To watch my boys, but that's another story. Anyway,
Well, it's all good. Appreciate everybody coming out for the open pit. On what you got, Dre? Oh,
2 Chiefs. No, so we got 2 Chiefs, 3 Niners.
Yep, of course, 3 Niners and 2 Chiefs.
You know, and the 2 Cowboy guys.
And of course, 1 Cowboy right here, boy. Don't ever forget it.
No cap. Are you a Falcons guy?
Yeah, Falcons.
Okay,
Yeah.
Got you.
Jeez, man, that is.
Hey, man, don't do that. Don't do that.
Man,
Don't do that.
man. I'm
Don't do that.
just gonna be honest, man. Hey, look, I was living in Atlanta. The year y'all went to the Super Bowl, I was like, yo, so ecstatic, man. We getting ready. We about to go blow the city up today.
Yeah.
And came out of halftime, and everybody was like, hey, what's happening? Everybody taking off their gear.
Man, the whole city was mad.
Right.
Look, hold on. I'm gonna say this. I'm just like the point that you made, right? Where you're turning the game into a point of possessions. If y'all don't remember the Super Bowl, Julio caught the ball on the 22-yard line.
A great
Julio
game.
cleaned out of bounds, caught the ball on the 22-yard line.
That was the game.
Look, I would have said
the field goal.
Run 40 off, take a knee on the first. Run 40 off, take a knee on the second. Run 40 off, take a knee on the third. We kicking the field goal.
And get your trophy. That's all they had to do. You drop back with Matt Ryan. You put Matt Ryan in a position to take a sack.
In the shotgun. Come on, y'all stop. Y'all stop now.
Hey,
that's what coaching comes into play.
I was watching that game. I was rooting for the Falcons like I was born and raised in Atlanta. And and my buddy's son kept going the whole time New England was coming back. He kept going, Tom Brady.
Here we go.
Tom Brady. I'm like, whatever, man. Tom Brady. And sure enough, they just kept coming. And then, but yeah, when Julio made that catch, that was, you said, well, they were already in field goal range right then. Run the ball 3 times, kick a field goal, go pick up your trophy. That was the game. And
I was in a rock and a hard place because the barbershop, everybody is Falcon fans. I was like, damn, if I gotta hear this at the barbershop, then Tom Brady, I don't want him winning the damn Super Bowl. So I was just like, can it be a tie? You know what I mean? But I was like, somebody gotta win. But real story though, real story. On my way to work later on that week, I'm at a light. I see a Falcon flag on the ground, a hat on the ground, a jersey. I'm like, it's just all kind of Falcon stuff. My trash cans. The fans was irate down here. I'm talking about. I don't think y'all got over it.
Bro,
no, probably not.
I'll tell you what. To me, what's even bigger is when they didn't give that ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
That was the worst.
Yeah.
That was the worst of anything I've ever seen in
Ever.
my life. Ever.
Ever.
Okay.
That's not.
Ever.
That's hands down.
Pete Carroll should have been
Yeah.
fired right
Yes.
there.
Yes.
But see,
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful, you just went back to my point from last week about Tom Brady. We just talked about 2 games he should have lost, which
Yeah.
would have been those were back to back.
Yeah.
He would have lost
Wow.
4 straight because they had lost back to back to New England. I mean to the Giants.
Right.
Then
Oh,
the
wow.
Seattle
Yeah.
game was, and then the
Yeah.
following time. I don't know if they were the following season, but it was the following time that
He was
They
Yeah.
made it in the
the
Super Bowl.
Patriots
It was
went.
the Super Bowl. Yeah.
They would have lost. They should have lost. Obviously, the Marshawn
Yeah.
they get a ball to Lynch, and then the Falcons. They would have lost 4 straight Super Bowls. Now, who's the GOAT? That was all I'm saying. Now, if you lose 4 straight, and you were probably favored in all of them, maybe not Seattle, but yeah, you're right. That Lynch made no sense.
That
At
made
all.
no sense.
Yeah.
That did.
But you just made a good point too, Dre from the Bay. You did. Look, he wouldn't have got them Super Bowls, and that would be a big question mark on the GOAT.
Well, that was my point last week. I said he was my almost overrated only because, not that he's not good, but is he really the GOAT? Because and then I didn't even get into the fact his kicker won the first 3 Super Bowls. His kicker won the first 3 against the Rams, the Panthers, and the Eagles, and then you lose 2, and then you should have lost 2 more, and then the Tampa Super Bowl, please, that was his defense and the fact that Mahomes was hurt, so I mean,
I still got Montana in the GOAT argument.
This
Oh,
is
it stays in there.
This is my point. This is my point. And it is, and I've said this so many times before. Tom Brady has always had a great offensive line to protect him. If you notice, whenever I've seen this so many times, whenever he got pressure and got sacked, he would get up off that ground and cuss those guys out because they didn't protect him. Okay? No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
And see the thing about this, whereas you have Lamar, you have what's his name, Mahomes, even Aaron Rodgers. Okay, if they could not throw the ball and they found a seam to get a first down, they would run the ball and get a first down. Tom Brady can never do that. He cannot run the football. Now, mind you, he's a great guy. If he's in a pocket and he can pick you to pieces, okay? When he's protected. But my thing is, the new quarterback of this century, you got to be able to do more than just sit back and block the football.
Yep.
You got to be mobile.
Yeah. See, that's the point. I'm telling you. See, this is, again, switching gears here. This is why I think that Barry Sanders was probably the greatest running back of all time. I mean,
most definitely.
Smith's up there. But and the reason why is because his offensive line, his team was not that great, but despite that, he was still able to be successful. Yeah. Tom Brady, on a note, he needed protection. If Tom Brady was on a mediocre team with a mediocre offensive line, he would not nearly be as good as they say he is. Oh, yeah. That's my thing.
Oh yeah.
And they traded the Chuck rule for him. The Raiders game. They should have been going to that Super Bowl. The Raiders should have been going to that Super Bowl. But yeah. But I appreciate y'all coming out to the open
yes,
pit.
Sir.
Yes,
Tune
sir.
in next Saturday.
This is always good.
Open barbershop discussions, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
One
sir.
love.
One love.
Hey, man. Y'all have a good weekend, man.
Blessings,
All right.
King.
Y'all be safe.
Y'all
All right,
too.
peace.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Have a good weekend.